and welcome to the show. We started this week's FailRace episode with unlucky Absol on GTA 5 in an already pretty battered police car. I'm not going to lie, it's all sorts of funny shapes. However, they do get amazingly lucky with a bounce off of not only a rock, but off of an AI traffic car as well. I had to slow this out. It is a brilliant landing. So you turn, you wouldn't even know there was a rock there. Turn in, launch off the rock, bounce off the roof of a traffic car to land. It's a pristine landing on the wheels to carry on, having lost pretty much no time. I mean, they're not the only one as well managing these sort of acts. Valentine is up next on GT5. This is actually during a stream a little while ago. This a wonderfully chaotic racetrack. Cars cross over, AI vehicles get flung about. It's generally quite funny. As we head towards the crossover point, the pink car gets launched. The car we're watching gets launched. It's another wonderful landing. 10 out of 10 on the landing there to be able to carry on and no real time lost. We're on to Dakar Desert Rally up next. Not quite such a good landing for the player truck here that has gone for a bit of a spin. I mean, it's easy to do as you're bouncing over the sand dunes and everything. You can get yourself in trouble. The thing is, the AI truck, as we head towards the next jump, sends it a lot harder. And then bounces, and then flips. It does get back on its wheels. It's not as clean. It's not as clean on the old landing side of things there. But, yeah, that was pretty I didn't know you could launch them so far. Ivan the Terrified up next on Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. They are chasing some runners into a tunnel that manages to crash against an AI truck. As they go to wipe it out, it just bounces over the Lamborghini, causing the Murcielago to do a massive wheelie. I'm not quite sure on why the Murcielago decided it needed to do a massive wheelie, but I guess, you know, it did. R2 Fraser up next on Snowrunner. They are driving around, I say, mostly minding their own business. Now, I presume this is a modded vehicle. I haven't played this game for quite a while now, but as they head up this road, everything going fairly well. They bump into one of the fences that just completely collapses their suspension. It's just all gone. It's all gone in an instant. It's not what you need. Although, speaking of collapsed suspension, High Private is up next on Beam. Now, they've found a very big jump and they're launching vehicles off it. You've played Beam, chances are you've done this yourself, right? You just fling vehicles about and see what mess you can make. The impressive thing with this is as the hopper smashes into the ground, is that while it has taken a huge amount of damage, it still works. It is somehow astonishingly still able to be driven after a fall like that. I mean, I've seen Beam vehicles sometimes survive crazy things. That is one of the most ridiculous, one of the most astonishing things it's been able to survive in all of that. The worst bit of all of it, though, is it breaks the drive shaft going up the hill. I think it would still technically drive. I think it would still work as a front-wheel drive at that point. But, yeah. That is some survival. And you couldn't do that one again if you bloody tried, I don't think. We have Kitchen Bear up next on Grid Legends with an awful lot of rain and some Formula 1 cars going on here. It is sort of trying to find our way past a couple of AI vehicles. It is a brave move going through the middle of them. It actually makes it work. Unfortunately, just runs a little bit wide, gets clipped, gets launched through the floor, well, through the scenery, then through the floor, then reset in front of everybody, and then does a flip, and everything's gone terribly wrong. Yeah, that's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Car Fan up next on Ultima Blister, also with a flipping open wheeled car. I mean, this time we've got Indy cars rather than F1 cars or these kart cars, I'm not sure exactly. But either way, it's very peculiar, this flip. The vehicle is just kind of... it gets sort of... it doesn't really get sandwiched. The black car seemingly just gets stuck in the floor. I think it makes contact, ever so slight contact with the leader, gets stuck in the floor, fires backwards, wipes out the car behind that has nowhere to go, and promptly loses all of its wheels. I mean, yeah, this car here has had the worst time of it. The black car actually landed and drove off, whereas this one lost all of its wheels, and that was kind of it. Calvin Toller is up next on Assetto Corsa. They are doing a spot of drifting at night time and everything going fairly well until it isn't, and then it really isn't. It bounces on a curb and then just gets launched into the abyss. No more drifting for you. Off down the hill we go, or off down out of the edge of the map we go with you. Yeah, that's no more drifty time for that car. Reza is up next on Assetto Corsa. The vehicle gets a bump. The Murcielago getting spun around. I'm actually sure what car hit that. Is that that weird Honda-y thing? I don't know. Either way, whatever it was, gave the Lamborghini a bump, spun it around. The Lamborghini then going to head into the pits, gets followed by another car. Well, that should be fine. And as we head into the pit lane, the Lamborghini manages to clip the cones, but I guess in Assetto Corsa they are, a fixed thing, and it just launches it over again. This poor car having a bad day. From all of this, first of all gets smacked at the back and spun around in front of everybody. So you just about, it's not the safest, we'll say, not the safest track rejoin I've ever seen from an AI car there. Admittedly, I know it's trying to get itself back onto its pit line or whatever, but it's probably not the greatest. It doesn't actually get hit, I don't think, going into the pit lane either. I think that's just AI derpiness. Maybe some broken steering. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but the poor Murcielago's not had a good moment. I mean, it's also upside down over the pit wall, which is not helpful either. And finally, we have that other car guy on Wreckfest. Now this is using the extreme damage that can get very, very silly indeed. This might be one of the silliest I've ever seen. Basically, the vehicles don't really have health. They keep going until they don't have any, wheels, if it's either both front wheels or both rear wheels lost. If you have one front and one rear, you can keep going. Which means, as this poor little killer bee gets utterly, brutalised by all of the vehicles around it, when it finally rolls out of the wreckage, it's a motorbike. It has actually been fully turned into a motorbike. As I said, I've played Wreckfest plenty. I've played with this damage setting a bit. It's not my favourite of the damage settings, but I have messed around with it a fair bit, and I have never seen a car come out looking like that. And still driving, I should point out. We've seen some flatmobiles, we've seen some wacky things, but this is a full-on motorbike. Actually, I have played with a motorbike on Wreckfest. There is a mod on PC for a motorbike on Wreckfest. But, that is a killer bee that has been rather unceremoniously converted. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form in the description, and we do indeed need more clips for this series. I'd really, really like to try and get the series to episode 500. So, if you want to submit some, that is how you can do it. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.